If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the outcome of 100 battles. But these words were never meant only for soldiers. They were written for thinkers, leaders, lovers, creators, for anyone locked in the quiet war between what they want and what they fear. Over 2,500 years ago, Sun Tzu looked beyond the battlefield and saw something most people still can't see today. He understood that every conflict, whether fought with swords or words, begins and ends in the mind. The Art of War is not a book about destruction. It's a manual for presence. It's about winning without blood, mastering perception, and turning chaos into calm. When you read it deeply, you realize Sun Tzu wasn't just teaching generals. He was teaching anyone who has ever faced doubt, pressure, or opposition. Think about your own battles. The negotiation you're afraid to begin. The conversation you keep postponing. The dream you delay because the timing doesn't feel perfect. You may not be on a battlefield, but your hesitation is costing you victories every single day. Sun Tzu taught that the most dangerous wars are not fought with armies, they are fought within the mind. And that's where most people lose, because they never stop to understand themselves. They study the world, but not their own patterns. They study success, but not their own fear. If you truly want to master life's battles, you must become both the general and the terrain. You must study yourself the way a strategist studies the map, your impulses, your weaknesses, your blind spots, your strengths. Because every decision you make, every mistake you repeat is a movement of the same army. Your thoughts. Sun Tzu said all war is based on deception, but he wasn't praising lies. He was revealing something deeper, that perception shapes reality. What people believe determines what they do. Whoever controls perception controls the outcome. This isn't manipulation, it's awareness. Think of every situation in your life where power shifted not because someone was stronger, but because someone was calmer, clearer, or quieter. That's the true battlefield. Clarity versus chaos. There's an ancient story of a general surrounded by thousands of enemies. Instead of preparing for battle, he opened the city gates, sat at the top of the wall, and calmly played a zither. The enemy, convinced it was a trap, retreated in fear. His greatest weapon wasn't steel, it was stillness. That's what mastery looks like, controlling your energy so completely that others move according to your calm. When Sun Tzu said, "Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak," he was teaching more than tactics. He was showing us how to disarm ego, how to lead without shouting, how to move without being seen. Power doesn't always roar, sometimes it whispers. You don't have to fight harder than others to win. You just have to see what they don't. And what blinds them most is emotion, fear, anger, pride. The greatest warriors in history, from the samurai of Japan to the philosophers of Greece, all understood the same truth. Emotion clouds vision, and vision decides victory. That's why knowing yourself is harder than knowing any opponent. Because self-awareness demands honesty without judgment. It demands you confront the parts of yourself you avoid. The pride that makes you reckless, the fear that makes you small, the compassion that sometimes blinds you to truth. These are not weaknesses, they are weapons waiting to be mastered. If you're finding value in this message, pause here and subscribe to Dojo Path. Every week we explore the philosophies that shaped warriors, poets, and monks across centuries. Teachings that help you live with purpose, act with precision, and stand calm in the storm. So subscribe now and continue walking this path of stillness, strength, and self-mastery. Now let's go deeper. Sun Tzu said, "The supreme excellence is to subdue the enemy without fighting." Imagine what that means in your world. Winning an argument by listening, leading a team without control, transforming resistance into trust. This is the highest level of skill. When your energy is so aligned, conflict dissolves before it even begins. Every argument, every deal, every relationship operates on layers. The surface shows disagreement, but beneath it lie needs, fears, and desires. When you see through the surface and meet what's really underneath, you can resolve conflict without aggression. Modern psychology proves what Sun Tzu knew millennia ago. Most conflicts are not logical. They are emotional. They're not about facts, but about identity and validation. When you make people feel understood, resistance melts. You win without war. Sun Tzu also said, "Speed is the essence of war." But he didn't mean rush. He meant move with timing. Strategic speed is not chaos. It's rhythm. It's knowing when to wait, when to strike, when to disappear. He prepared in stillness so that when the moment arrived, his movements were lightning. Think of your own life. How many times have you lost opportunities not because you lacked strength but because you hesitated too long? Preparation without action becomes paralysis. Action without preparation becomes chaos. The warrior's art lies in balance, slow mind, fast hand. Sun Tzu taught that terrain decides more than courage. Terrain is not just ground, it's context. In modern life, your terrain is your environment, your timing, your situation. You must read it as a general reads a map. Adapt your strategy to where you stand, not where you wish you were. Most people fail because they force one strategy onto every situation, but life demands flexibility. Sun Tzu said, "Be formless, like water." Water flows around obstacles. It doesn't resist them. It never loses its nature, only its shape. That's how you must live. Not rigid, but resolute. Adaptation is strength disguised as softness. The flexible warrior bends but never breaks. And this is where most people fall apart. They cling to comfort, routine, ego. But rigidity is death. Adaptation is evolution. Sun Tzu also warned, "An army with two generals never wins." In your own life, that means make clear decisions. Don't let hesitation divide your will. When your thoughts and actions move in different directions, you lose internal unity. Alignment creates power. Leadership begins with clarity. People don't follow orders, they follow purpose. When you know your why, your direction becomes contagious. You can't command others until you've mastered yourself. And mastery doesn't mean control. It means awareness. It means seeing without distortion, acting without panic, and recovering without regret. Sun Tzu's final teaching may be his most misunderstood. The victory that does not look like victory. It means the highest level of mastery is subtle. When you've trained your mind to move in harmony with truth, change happens naturally. You don't force outcomes. You shape them quietly. This is how true influence works. Not by domination, but by direction. The most powerful leaders don't push. They pull. They create conditions where the outcome becomes inevitable. Your life, too, is a series of battles. Some external, most internal. The mind that hesitates when it should act. The ego that speaks when it should listen. The fear that builds walls around potential. Every day you wake up, you are both commander and soldier. And every decision moves you closer to mastery, or further from it. So ask yourself, what war are you really fighting? The one outside, or the one within? The art of war was never about conquering others. It was about conquering the self. Because when the mind is still, no enemy can find you. Train your mind. Master yourself. Walk the dojo path.